Have you heard of the 8th continent?
I gotta pee.
Hello, I'm Mark Austin from Raleigh, North Carolina, and let's talk about that.
Good Mythical Morning.
This episode is brought to you by RoyaltyFreeMusicLibrary.com. That's the place where we get all of the backing tracks that we use on this show and a lot on our main channel as well. RoyaltyFreeMusicLibrary.com.
Thanks for joining us, Link. That was rude of you to get up and evacuate.
8 glasses of water a day. Have you heard this? You know, you should drink 8 glasses, and I'm talking full glasses of water a day. Have you heard this? Because I'm telling you, if you haven't heard, 8 full glasses.
Is that what your doctor talks
to
like?
the brim. My doctor talks like this.
How you been? You're looking good.
Have you been drinking your 8 glasses?
Your blood pressure's fine.
Is it a myth or is it not a myth? What do you think? Go ahead and comment right now. But up too late, it is a myth.
Whoa, really? Okay, this is going against all convention, Link. I mean, we've got people out there saying 8 glasses a day. I mean, they've been saying that since like 87.
Well, the 28 seconds worth of Googling and reading that I did about the subject right before I'm talking about it right now.
Oh, yeah, that's good
when I was in the restroom there on my phone, said it's a myth. I mean, it obviously varies by how big you are and how much hydration you need.
I need a lot. I need 10, 12. Maybe.
You might need...
I'm a tall drink of water is what they say.
What you really need to do is you need... Whatever you lose in a day, you need to replenish. And the general rule of thumb is, if you're thirsty, drink.
Should I be recycling my own pee? Because then I would know exactly... I would
drink... I'm talking about water, not pee. This is not a survival initiation ceremony type thing.
Listen, I've been watching that show about the people who get ready for the end of the world, and there was a couple on there.
You're still watching it?
Yeah. Doomsday preppers, and the older couple on there was drinking their own pee.
Well, that's their problem.
Like, you might have to do this if the world's about to end.
Well, they do say, I have heard when you're hiking, have you heard people say this? Well, if you're hiking and you get thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Drink your own pee.
No, you're already dehydrated. So the rule of thumb is drink when you're thirsty, except when you're hiking, and then drink right before you get thirsty.
What about during sports?
Drink during timeouts. I always see, I was looking at a lot of sports recently.
I'm looking at a lot of sports.
I always like to watch the bench, and when someone goes to the bench, because I relate to the people.
Give me the bench cam.
I relate to the people on the bench, and
that's a great idea for a channel like ESPN4 should be the bench cam.
But I always notice
they're guys talking to each other like, what'd you do last night?
When they sit down, with audio, when they sit down and they put a towel and a water over here, and I always hate it when the guy's like he's sweaty, he's gonna go back in the game in a few minutes.
He's mad though.
He refuses the water. Never refuse the water, athletes. Unless you've had 8 glasses, which you should get 8 glasses a day, full glasses.
That's not true, you just said not to.
Oh, whatever. Now, our friend Joe Beretta of Barats and Beretta fame, and also on SourceFed, he's one of the hosts there. If you don't know Joe, what's your problem? We were hanging out with Joe, and you remember what he told us. I don't remember how it came up.
He drinks his own pee.
No, he doesn't.
I'm going to see how many times I can put that in there.
He didn't admit to drinking his own pee. But do you remember how this came out of conversation? Because I know that he said, when you roll out of bed, the first thing you should do is drink a big glass of water.
A pint. He said a pint of water.
And that's like a glass like this.
That's a lot of water.
It's like bigger than your head. Drink enough water to fill your head as if you were to drink it, it stayed in your head.
Well, it does, I think.
It goes down.
Oh.
But if it didn't, that's how much you should drink, I think is what Joe was getting at. And he wasn't talking about the 8 glasses thing. It was a quality of life for different reasons thing.
There's all kinds of reasons. I mean, I think you end up... He thought it kind of had a jump start kind of effect on you. And also, I think it causes you not eat as much the rest of the day because you've kind of got a full stomach to begin with. And, you make sure that you can be hydrated because you really can't... You can drink too much water. But
it's not about losing weight. It's about vitality, I think is what he was getting at. He nor us need to lose weight. It's about being vital.
Well, all I know is I've been doing it. You've been doing it.
We have been doing it.
And I think that you have been doing it a little bit more, drinking water. Have been doing it a little bit more consistently than me. But I had to cut back because what I was doing, I was doing a pint of water, and then I was...
Right out of bed.
Well, like in the first 15 minutes. I didn't roll out of bed and I did some other things,
like walk to the kitchen,
out of the bedroom. But then I would drink the pint of water.
I would literally do it while still in bed.
Like a hamster cage kind of thing next to you?
No, it'd just be glass. I would have the glass ready before my feet hit the ground.
Okay, but I've been doing that. And then I do coffee right after, and I come out here, and I end up, I don't drink my own pee. Don't misquote me on that. But I pee a lot. It's because I do the water, and then I do the diuretic. You know, that's what tea is, right?
Or coffee.
And, coffee. And I literally 7 or 8 times before lunchtime. I mean, that's not normal. That's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. I had to cut back.
I've already peed 4 times. And 5. No, just kidding. You know, but it's interrupting our workflow.
Yeah.
That flow is interviewing the workflow.
Interfering with
so
the
we need,
workflow.
but my vitality has increased dramatically. Anyway, this is kind of what I'm getting at.
And you cry more easily too.
Yeah, because the tears are there.
Yeah.
This is a drier climate. Christy, my wife, she's having all types of problems with her eyes because it's so much drier
Is she
here.
drinking the pint?
I don't think so. She needs to be drinking the pint.
Baby, you need to be drinking the pint. Let me tell you.
So I'm looking through my Netflix account and I'm browsing for something that's not in my queue, and I see this documentary called Tapped.
Seen it.
And I knew it was about water because you had seen it, and then pairing it with the fact that I needed to pee because of Joe, I clicked on it and I watched it just the other night. Now,
it's a good movie.
I recommend watching it. It's like an hour and 15-minute documentary. It's about the bottled water industry. There's a plane flying low overhead. It could be transporting water.
To drop on a wildfire.
Now, in extenuating circumstances or like disaster situations, this is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Or places where there's not water. But in the United States of America, where we have a lot of water and we have a thing called the tap, their argument, I was going to say dissertation, but I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, that's you write that to get a PhD.
Their point is that we shouldn't be buying these things that we bought before watching the movie and have in our refrigerator, bottled water.
And of course, there's a couple of points here. The main point is just simple economics. Let's just start there. What you get, I mean, first of all,
Let's start with ingredients, not economics.
Okay.
Ingredients.
What you may not believe this, but what is in the majority of bottled water that you can go buy at the grocery store is essentially the same stuff that you can get out of a tap. Even if it has a picture of a mountain on it or a picture of a geyser or something like that. If you actually read the fine print, a lot of times it'll come out and say it. This was bottled from a municipal water source. Meaning that the same thing that we're getting tap water out of is the same thing that's going into these bottles. Now, granted, a lot of these companies will run that municipal water, that tap water, through like an advanced filtration thing to make it purer. But the bottom line is, all you got to do is slap a little filter onto the end of your faucet, and you get the same exact thing for a whole lot cheaper. I'm moving into the economics.
And a lot of the different states. Well, all of the states are regulated to such a point. They think they do a good job in the film to talk about how it's regulated by the EPA. So you're gonna get something that's highly regulated.
It's not gonna poison you,
even if you don't put the pure filter or whatever Brita filter you want on there. But yeah, you're paying for something that costs a lot more than the price of gas.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, the water in those bottles.
It's a ripoff.
It's a ripoff because it's more expensive than fuel. It's more expensive than gas.
We've been duped by marketing, and so I just say watch the documentary. Ultimately, the application for me is once we go through this water here, we're gonna recycle this, and then 2, we're just gonna pop on the filter and we're gonna use a BPA-free water bottle like this, but we're not gonna share one, Rhett. And we're going to drink our water out of this.
You get your own and I get my own. But here's one of the most interesting things that I learned in this thing, and you may have heard about this, is this thing called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And this is a huge patch of garbage. I think there's one in the Atlantic and one in the Pacific, but there's one in the middle of the Pacific.
It's the largest landfill on the earth is in the ocean out there in the Pacific. Around Hawaii.
And there's the way that the currents work.
Not literally around Hawaii.
Listen, man. The way the currents work in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, they end up basically trapping all this trash. All the trash that goes and falls on the ground, goes into the creek, goes into the river, then goes into the ocean. And this thing has like swelled to like the size of the state of Texas. And it's just trash out there in the middle of the ocean.
Now, I got excited when I first heard about this before watching the movie because I thought that this was another continent forming,
That
like a
we could be,
landmass.
We could be like kings of the garbage patch.
Yeah, we could go out there and lay claim to it. We could have crowns.
Yeah, but you can't walk on it because it's like a slurry of trash. But another thing, the most common ingredient in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch
is plastic.
Plastic, like you see in a
it
water
makes
bottle.
it just makes no sense just to purchase convenience to be contributing to that. Now you say, but I recycle, and yeah, we recycle. I recycle, but I don't recycle 100% of the time. And I'm buying this convenience. Part of the convenience is this: when I'm done with it, I throw it away. I don't hoard it until I get back home in my car, and then I recycle them. I'm just being honest. So why not short circuit the whole thing and just keep a BPA-free water bottle and just fill it up with
we could
tap or filtered tap.
We could keep throwing stuff into the Great Pacific Garbage Patch until it gets so big that it adds onto the side of the United States and Japan, and we can walk to Japan and then see that girl that's the hologram in concert at any time that we want. So I take everything back that we said. Drink bottled water, don't recycle, throw it all on the side of the road so it'll go down into the creek, go down to the river, create the biggest Pacific Garbage Patch that we've ever seen, get enough so we can walk across it and see that girl in Japan that performs as a hologram. So just scratch everything we've said up until now.
Let's end this episode. Rhett gives Link a fatherly lecture. And you can talk about anything you want using that water bottle. Hey, Dad, you called me in here for something?
Listen, son, I got something I need to tell you.
Yeah?
My daddy, one thing he told me was that your hair, from the top of your head to the bottom of the back of your hair, should never be longer than one of these bottles right here. And as you can see, you got a little like Beatles, like Paul McCartney kind of thing happening down here.
This is
I don't approve of that.
Really trying to be cool, Dad. You're not an expert on that.
I would go as far as to say that's sinful right there. That little extra inch of hair right there. Now listen, son, I want to help you out. I want you to do things in life. I want you to succeed. I want you to get a buzz cut. Because a buzz cut, let me tell you, a buzz cut says, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm going to take on the world, I'm going to knock people out of the way, I'm going to knock them down, I'm going to kick them when they're down.
You also said drink 8 glasses of water a day, and that's a myth.
So I'm not talking about that. Get a buzz cut.
Tune in on YouTube or on your podcast and listen to Rhett and Link. They are so fast with the comebacks and with the heat. Spin the wheel of mythicality.